I have been wanting to make a granny square vest for a long time, and that time is now. For this granny square, I'm going with your traditional standard everyday average Joe kind of granny square pattern, and the vest is going to have several pieces. So we'll have granny squares for the front, the back, the shoulders, and the sides. The front and the back are going to have two giant squares, so one giant square, one for each, and then the shoulders and sides will have smaller granny squares. It's funny, I've made granny square sweaters. I've made granny square sweaters and even a dress, and somehow I managed to bypass making a vest, which is, considering I'm still kind of a beginner crochet garment maker, you would think that I would start with that first, but no, I went straight into making sweaters and a dress. When it comes to coloring my granny squares, I can go both ways. I can go with a solid color, or I can use multiple colors of yarn. This is actually where I face analysis paralysis. If I used one color, what would it be? And if I used multiple colors, what would the combination be? I always seem to place some kind of importance and meaning behind my color combinations, or if I have a particular yarn that's been collecting dust and I feel like I should really use it, so why not now? But then the color's all wrong and it doesn't go with the rest of the colors that I've selected, so I have to adjust, and then, oh my god, the vest never gets done. But I've made a decision and I've chosen my colors, which I will show you in a second. Another thing I like to consider when I crochet clothes is the fiber that I'm using. So of course I would love to splurge and get like a nice fancy cashmere, silk, merino, bamboo wool, but in this economy, plus I have a dog to feed, another crochet and knit project. So I'm using good old acrylic yarn. It's machine washable, doesn't shrink, and depending on the brand, it's usually very easy to work with, and best of all, it's affordable. For this granny square vest, I'm gonna use Bernat Super Value and Karen pound, 1 pound acrylic yarn, and a 5mm crochet hook. So I got a head start on making the granny squares. So I've got 6 of the small granny squares, and I've also got one of the giant granny squares. So I just have one more giant square to make. After finishing the squares, these are the colors I went with, as you can see. After finishing these granny squares, I had second thoughts about the color combos. So I'm not stopping now. There's no way I'm gonna stop now. I have to finish this. So I'm really hoping that I don't hate it so much like I do right now. I don't know what I was thinking when I was putting the yarns together. It looked really fun and I really wanted something vibrant and fun. So this is what we have. For the second giant granny square, I'm going to reverse the color order. So I'm going to be starting with this color in the center. And I'm really just hoping that when it's all put together, I will not hate it. So in keeping with the same method and pattern as the first big square, I worked 2 rounds in this same color and then 3 rounds each color for the remaining rounds of the granny square. So I have joined in the second color, so I'm going to work 2 more rounds in this sky blue color and then switch to this hot pink, and then this baby pink, and then this, I think this is called Fig. So these are the first 3 rounds of the bigger granny square. So I'm going to repeat the same method for each round until I have 14 rounds in total. All right, I'm gonna work on that, and then it'll be time to put it all together. Alright, so this is how far I have gotten with the second square. So as you can see, I've got another 2 colors to go. I think I might be calling it a day today, and then I'll continue with the rest of the square tomorrow. I want to point out how well this worked out, is that this hot pink is the center color in both of the squares. So I really enjoyed that. I like when these kind of things happen naturally. All right, so when I said I was going to continue making the granny square tomorrow, I meant today. So I finished the second big granny square. There it is. So I have all the squares that I need. I'm ready to start joining. Actually, no, I cannot join these yet. I need to block them first. Just using our mister that we usually use for plants, and just misting some water over the squares. I don't want them soaked, I just want them slightly damp. And as I'm misting, I'm also just sort of helping to shape them along. And then I'll put in the second layer. Oh, I really like this color combo here. Yeah, the bigger squares definitely won't fit on this small block. For the big squares, that I'm going to use my usual foam mats and lay them out on those. I will let these sit overnight, and then tomorrow we can start to join the pieces together. It's tomorrow. Let's see how our squares are looking. Nice neat edges. It'll just make it easier when I'm joining the squares together. Helps to align them, and they're all the same size and they just look nice. And I think this one's my favorite. I really like this color combo. And then the larger squares, these have also been blocked, and I weaved in the ends as well. So we are ready to start joining all these pieces together. Shoulders like this. That'll look nice. I'll join the shoulders like this. The method that I like to use for joining, so it's usually when I'm joining stitch to stitch that I really prefer this method, because it's just, I just match it up and I go each stitch. You'll see. I'll just show you. So I've got a length of yarn and a yarn needle. What I'm going to do first is make a knot. So when I'm starting, I like to sort of weave in the yarn from the back side and bring it up to where I'm going to start sewing. And just on the where the yarn is, or where the needle's going to come out, I'll just sort of go through the strands, because then the knot that I just made will get stuck, right? So this is, I want it to be secure. I don't want it to go through the stitches, but just to make sure that it's not going to come through, I will run the needle through a few times just to make sure it doesn't come out. Now I'm going to take my piece that I'm joining, and this is with the right sides facing. So I'm going to start by going into the second piece. So I'm going to line it up. So I've got my clusters joined in together like this, and then I'm going to insert my needle into this stitch and out through the other side. So it's kind of going behind this stitch, and then I'm going to go into the second piece and into the same space where the yarn was coming out. I'm going to insert the needle and bring it up into this stitch and then pull the yarn through. And I'm not going to tighten it, because I'm going to just do this a few times first and then I will tighten it. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to insert it into the first piece and then go into the second piece. Where the yarn is coming out of is where I'm going to put the needle back in and then bring it out through the next stitch. And I'll do that a few more times. So you can see it's like a bit of a zigzag back and forth, and it's lining up, you know, the stitches, each stitch is corresponding to the other opposite side of things. Now that I've got these stitches put together, I'm going to hold on to the two pieces and pull. So you can see that it's joined things nice and neatly, and it's nice and flat. You don't see the yarn poking through. That's what I really like most about this particular join, is that you could be using a different color yarn than what the project is, and you won't really see it once you've joined the pieces together, once you pull it through. Plus, it's just so satisfying when you pull the yarn and it closes everything nice and neatly. And when I get to the end of the square, I'm just going to tie a few knots and cut the yarn. And that is one shoulder done. Okay, my head fits through, which is important. Cool. All right, so I got the shoulders. Shoulders are sewn on, and now I'm gonna add the side. I'll add the side seams or the side squares. All right, the squares are now joined. Let's try it on. Okay. Cute. Okay, I don't hate it. This is very cute. Okay, I might even just love it now. Okay, so this, I could be done with this as it is and keep it like a nice loose vest, but I think I'm gonna add some ribbing. I'm gonna add ribbing to the neck. I find that ribbing kind of adds a little bit of a polished look to things. So I'll add ribbing to the bottom, of course, and maybe like this much. And a bit of ribbing to the armholes, but for the ribbing in the armholes, probably won't make it too thick, like maybe this much. And then the same with the neck. Just do like a little ribbing. So I'm gonna do that. It's gonna take a while, and I'll leave a link to a tutorial on how I do afterthought ribbing. And it's just basically working in the back loops, working rows all the way around in the back loop only. So I think I'm gonna do that, and we'll see how it turns out. I finished the neck so far. Oh, this looks so good. I love how it just ties it all nice together, and then it doesn't look so completely boxy. Like, oh, this is great. Okay, now I'm gonna do the armholes and then the waist. This is looking so good. Good morning. Just continuing to work on the rib on this vest. Yesterday I did the neck part and I added the ribbing around the armholes. The bottom rib hem is finally done and all that's left to do is sew the seam. I'm using a yarn needle to do a quick whip stitch, but you can use your hook to slip stitch along the stitches or use your preferred method to sew seams. And here is the finished vest. And you know what? I actually love this. I don't hate it at all. I love both sides. I don't know which is going to be the front and the back. Front or back? Front or back? I love this. This vest is like a visual representation of my inner self with some really bright electric colors mixed in with some muted pastels and tones and lined with this really sharp black. This is like the Paint Pastel Princess song from Neon Ballroom. It's the food fight in Hook. Yeah, I love this. I love this a lot. Well, that is it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some inspiration from this crochet granny square vest. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.